They're gonna count down real soon. All right, it started.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and off we go then.
It has started. Here we go.
So, in case y'all need to know, this is a Mario Odyssey 80% speedrun, which the goal of the game is to beat the game as fast as possible and get to the end credits. That'll be done here with acquiring moons in order to progress towards Bowser. And compared to Mario 64 here, where the game arbitrarily wants 70 stars and then gets lower based off what glitches you can do here. Here you need 124 moons ultimately to get there, opting for all the fastest ones and the quickest ones. And so, with that in mind, I don't know what comes to mind for you, Cheese.
I mean, so Odyssey, you grab moons and you keep playing. As opposed to Mario 64 and other games, Sunshine, almost every Mario game pretty much. When you grab stars or power stars or whatever it is, you would leave the level and you go back in and you start over pretty much on the level. But this game, it's a different dynamic where you just keep playing. You grab a moon, you keep going. It's more like an overworld setting. It's kind of like Banjo-Kazooie. It's actually a lot like that game that we just saw here, where you grab those jiggies and you just keep going. So it's a different dynamic. It's pretty new, I think, in the Mario scene.
Yeah, it makes the routing more dynamic. You don't have that automatic reboot point. So the order matters more here as opposed to the minimizing the backtracking, the warping that would happen otherwise.
Definitely, that's the point I was gonna make.
Yeah, there's a lot of tech going on here, even in the very beginning already. You may have saw here he was able to use the frogs and traverse quicker by using a thing called vectoring, where you can how do I say it here? You change your direction 45 degrees every time you jump or move, and you're able to make the momentum stack or something like that. You're able to move faster ultimately.
Okay.
Every single boss fight has some kind of speed tech going on.
Right.
I mean, everything here is getting killed really, really quickly. There are so many throw options going on here. You can throw Cappy directly in front of you. You can do a homing toss. You can do a spin throw. All of them come into play. In fact, if you ever were to play Odyssey and look at the pause menu, there is I think literally 20 different options involving Cappy. It's kind of insane.
Wow.
Yeah, I won't bore you now with all of them right now, but just to FYI if you're new to the whole thing here.
If you want to learn the game, you gotta learn everything. But this reminds me a lot, and we had a mini talk about this, me and Trias, about kind of comparing Odyssey to Sunshine, for example, where Sunshine has it introduces the flood aspect, where you have the water, and Odyssey you have the cap. It's kind of, they have a similar thing going on there with you use a medium to kind of influence your movement. So in Sunshine you have the flood, here you have the Cappy, and it's pretty similar in both games in that sense. But what opinions do you have, Trias? Because we kind of have opposing opinions. I thought Sunshine was very similar to Odyssey in movement because of that, but you had kind of opposing views.
So what we were talking about before was that I do agree that 64 is very, very different than Odyssey and
for sure.
Sunshine, because both Odyssey and Sunshine have a core gimmick that is used throughout the entire game. In Sunshine, you have the flood, and the floods which you have to use to maintain water levels and whatnot. In Odyssey, it's all about using the cap and cap throws and cap tosses to traverse the entire area and whatnot. But comparatively in Mario 64, there's no such thing. The whole gimmick there, if you want to call it that, it's here's Mario in 3D. It's revolutionary. Check it out. Here's a 3D camera and here's a 3D environment. And it's just, I guess the way to get optimization, I feel, is not as easily found because there's not such a gimmicky thing to utilize the entire time.
Right.
It's just Mario moving around.
Exactly.
But your thing was, you were saying that Odyssey and Sunshine are very, very similar, and I don't know about that one. I feel like Odyssey is definitely a lot floatier than Sunshine, and that comes into play in a lot of areas. Whereas in Sunshine, your threats always know, can you get more airtime? And you kind of can't. You can use Flood to hover down and minimize the loss of airtime, but you can literally just gain airtime with zero loss by just tossing Cappy. So that threat is minimized a lot.
I guess in Sunshine and Odyssey, what is pretty similar is in terms of backups, etc. You use that medium to help you, rescue yourself or back, for backups, etc. If you fall down, you could quickly use Flood to get back up, Or in Odyssey, like you said, use the cap to help you pretty much do a lot of backups. Whereas in Mario 64, if you fall, because it's just Mario himself, you kind of, you know, it's a whole different scenario.
Now, so I want to pause here real quick here because there's a lot going on here, and if we've this dynamic of me and Cheese is already really fun, but there's like so many often we're gonna miss something to commentate on, and in particular here the Nicro's feed, you may have saw he did an awkward thing. He did like a clip after he acquired that moon out of that chest right there. One of the hot spicy things going on right now in 2018 in Mario Odyssey is there's now I don't know what the formal title of it's called, but moon acquire clips. If you position Mario a certain way, if you have any part of his body, whenever Mario acquires a moon, does his little moon, moon get pose. I guess all hitboxes are ignored during the pose animation. So if you can get Mario to like clip into anything during the pose, you can then toss Cappy and then immediately traverse out of bounds completely and come back into bounds.
So the tossing of the cap initiates the clip?
No, it's having Mario's position, because like when Mario's going to stop moving and just like face towards the camera and do his Yahoo! He's gonna do his pose.
Right.
And during the pose, all clipping is able to happen at that point.
Okay. So can you explain a bit more about how the actual like speed boost works? There's a lot of moments in the game where after grabbing moons especially, they would do a certain combination of movements that gives them like a lot of initial speed. Like they get like full speed right away. It's kind of like a ground pound cap throw combination thing that they do.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Mario. It's kind of like a Sonic spin dash, somewhat.
Right.
Yeah, it's called a spin pound, and that is it's the quickest way to achieve your max horizontal speed very quickly. Whereas normally you would need like a running start and you have to initiate a motion roll, which is very basic. But you can you do a ground pound and then you boost after a ground pound, but the ground pound has lag. So the idea is you can, how you get around that ground pound lag is to do a spin jump, because you can buffer out of a spin jump. And that's the important part there. So you're doing a spin jump with a buffered ground pound that has no lag, and you come off of that immediately into max speed.
Is it a frame perfect trick?
No, I wouldn't call it frame perfect. It's actually pretty easy to go for. It's the only thing that's important to know there is that to do the spin pound, you have to rotate your control stick 2 complete times for it to initiate. That's the only thing you have to know. So it is a little thumb intensive, and it will arguably destroy your Pro Controller within a few months of doing it constantly.
Right.
But I'm sure you're no stranger to that though with Mario 64.
Well, this is awesome though, because the 3 Mario games, 3D Mario games, Sunshine, Mario 64, and Odyssey have a very similar thing going on there with like achieving high speed or the fastest speed from 0 basically. Where Sunshine, basically just standing up, you can do an instant dive, which allows you to gain like full horizontal speed. Mario 64, you could actually long jump while pretty much standing up. With a lot of practice, you can get almost full speed right away. In Odyssey, there's that. What is it called? What is the trick called?
Spin pounding.
Spin pounding, yeah.
Yeah.
The most impressive and hardest, probably out of all 3 as well.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy actually. But you got some pretty technical stuff too in your game though. I mean, you got the whole dust frames and everything else.
Yeah, like Mario 64, the thing with optimization in general is trying to figure out how you can always get frame perfect rollouts, frame perfect long jumps, speed kicks, etc. And of course, Odyssey and Sunshine involve the Cappy and the Flood, which is a whole different case.
Here's something I want to ask you about. Here's a hot take here. So in case you guys do not know, Mario Odyssey, unlike Sunshine, unlike Mario 64, is 60 frames per second. So whenever you bring up the instance of there being like a frame perfect trick, that 1/60th of a second, right? And the hot question for you now, Cheese, is like, I did see recently that Mario 64 recently has a 60 FPS mod that came out, right? Have you tried it yet? And do you find that it affects anything?
What is it called?
I don't know. I saw it on YouTube. I believe it came out of beta. It's now you're able to like download it formally now.
I actually don't know.
I'll look for it. It's in my YouTube history if I find it.
Definitely gonna look for that.
But yeah, it looks beautiful. I watched it on YouTube on 60 FPS, and I was like, ooh, look at this game.
Awesome.
But that is notable though. This game is and so as we get further into the tech skill rabbit hole, there will be some things that are going to be definitely unforgiving as time continues with tech advancement.
So how's the swimming in this game? Is it Is there a lot of tech going on in the swimming? Is it complicated?
You know, swimming in this game is it's actually really different. So how do I word this here? Coming from 64 or Banjo-Kazooie, it's like really offsetting because it's completely different. Actually, you automatically sink if you press nothing, and then because like normally you remain. How's it work in 64? You remain stationary. But my brain's reprogrammed now because I'm so used to how Odyssey's swimming works now that I'm probably gonna be confused by how it works in previous
Mario
games.
64, you just press A and a rhythm, and you maintain full speed by just pressing A and a rhythm.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's the same in Sunshine. Or Sunshine, you just mash. I think you could just mash and you go faster.
Okay.
Also,
Yeah, here it's like so whenever how do I really word this here? Yeah, there's often there's no quick way to sink other than just ground pound. And obviously if you ground pound to the floor, you're gonna have a bunch of ground pound lag. So there's like there are some instances where you have to kind of like hop in the water if it's like a shallow water pool, particularly here in Lake Kingdom. You would have to just like let him sink for a second, as opposed to like there's no button you can press to quickly get to the surface level you need to get to.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm making it kind of complicated here, but just know it's really different is how I would word it.
You also use like a fish in this level to help you, and you swim faster with it, obviously.
Correct. Yeah, one of the many things you're gonna capture in this game. Kind of like Mumbo Jumbo in Kazooie. You have like some kind of unique. I don't want to call it a vehicle, but like alternative means of moving around.
When I played this game casually, which I haven't finished yet, but this was my favorite level for sure. I just found this the most.
Really? This level?
I really enjoyed it for some reason.
Well, you gotta finish this game because you haven't even been through the highlights.
Yeah, I gotta finish the game for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because like that's like you saying, you know, oh man, I really like Wet Dry World. It's so freaking cool, and you haven't made it to
a lot of swimming
yet.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, maybe you like that one more actually.
For sure.
Because like in that regard, actually, you know, all right. So here, I'm gonna play a game with you here. So like, what is your favorite world in 64? And then I'm gonna try to guess what your favorite world would be.
Actually, it's actually Wet Dry World. It's funny you mentioned it. I really enjoy Wet Dry World. I'll tell you what, because Wet Dry World has the way it's built. Like, you know, there's a town area and there's the main area of the stage. And the main area, the way it's built, it's made really well to kind of like mix up the movement perfectly. So you can basically use all the tools in Mario movement in that stage really well in a really fun way. And then the town area is even more complicated. It's really well made, really pretty, and it's everything is really close together in like a small space. So it creates even more like options for routing and optimizations when it comes to movement. Okay, and then there's a little bit of swimming in it, but just the right amount for it not to be too boring, you know?
Gotcha. Okay. Well, okay, so I thought you guys was gonna say, you know, TikTok clock because it's like non-stop aggressive platforming. It's a speed run.
Yeah,
like rush. So I thought you guys was gonna be that, and I was gonna say, you know, you'll probably love Lost Kingdom because it has like no downtime. It's platforming from the very jump. The level is so broken now that you don't even do like anything the Nintendo way at all whatsoever, which we'll get to here in just another short 2 worlds after from now.
Right. I'd like to give a quick shout out to Nos Badronis for a $25 donation. He says, awesome event. Can't wait for the future of speedrunning with GSA. Thank you so much for the $25, dude. Really appreciate it. Well, that's our plan, dude. That's our plan.
Can you help me out here again? Tell me, what are these donations going towards again during this fundraiser event?
Okay, so all donations raised in this fundraiser is going to future prize pools for our upcoming events. And since GSA is brand new, this is our first main event. And so we're raising funds for prize pools and all our upcoming events. Of course, the first event coming up is the Ultimate 120-star Relay for SM64. And right after that, we're having a bingo tournament. And both of those events are going to have prize pools. And this fundraiser is to raise money for those prize pools and upcoming ones in the future as well. And we'll probably have more fundraisers as the months goes by. So
you would say that if people enjoy what's happening right now, that donations help make more of these things happen?
Oh yeah, right? For sure. Yep.
Well, need we say more, chat?
Right. And not only that, not only Mario, of course. The plan is to have as much games as we can. And the good news is that we already have Ocarina of Time on the list after just a week of promoting.
All right, so here we go. So if Nigel gets this right, he's gonna clip.
Oh yeah.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is the hot stuff. This is like brand new here. This is like the new stuff. The Wooded Kingdom route is now like this is the official like spicy hot 2018 Wooded route.
Seems as though we all got. Oh, Stravos.
Oh my god.
Stravos kind of fell down maybe. Oh, he got it. Okay.
Oh, that's so awesome here. Another thing to note here, I believe, is that I could be wrong about this, but there's a giant invisible wall blocking Necro from going any further. So him diverting to the left, even though it's what's needed, he couldn't go straight up if he wanted to.
Right.
So he just kind of goes to the side there and walks off the side to get to that nut he just already cracked.
So Rails did not get the clip. The only one I did not get the clip. So that clip is frame perfect. It's a position perfect.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's pretty finicky.
Right.
Fun factor, by the way, the nut that Nitro just got in that maze area, you can clip right there too, but it's useless because you can't get anywhere with it. You just get inside the giant building and then fall out of bounds. But you know, as Cheese and everyone else here knows, if you're fooling with speedrunning, today's useless glitch now will be useful eventually, maybe. You know, everything begins as a useless glitch at the very beginning. Oh no!
Nitro falling down.
Oh.
But what
it happens.
Dying here, they're checkpoints, but do they?
Oh wow, he's actually.
Ooh.
Wow, that's a brutal spot there.
I guess in the runs they don't really worry about.
There actually was a checkpoint.
But he
didn't get because
right.
You know,
Speed. Gotta go fast.
Speed, bro. Yeah.
Oh man, that's a big one.
Let me see. I want to say about this. So the other thing here too, I want to bring up here, and this could be me being unique here, but like, yeah, whenever you're in panic mode, because so many of the optimized actions in Mario Odyssey are tethered to motion controls, I find it like I play more erratic and bad whenever I'm under stress and time. Also note here too, something very, very important we should bring up here is that when you speedrun this game, you may have saw here whenever for Nitro's death, he bonked. The bonking here is particularly brutal. I believe whenever you bump into a wall, now correct me if I'm wrong here, I don't think there's even a penalty for this in Mario 64 or Sunshine comparatively, but if you bonk into a wall, 1.8 seconds.
Right.
It is excruciating. It puts you in tilt. You know, in your head, you're thinking it's much worse than it actually is. And you
Definitely
get, you know,
too.
Yeah. And like, Odyssey's not a game where you can press buttons fast to play better. It's more about a game that you need to press buttons precisely to play correctly.
Right. And this is actually, well, actually thinking about it, pretty much all the Mario games are like that. It's a lot like that, where it's just about precise pressing. Mario 64 is the same thing. But in terms of bonking, like you talked about, it is, I think, almost the exact same time loss in Mario 64. You lose close to 2 seconds for bonks. Because not only that, you lose all your momentum, so you have to build the momentum again, and that's what loses most of the time. Like, for example, missing a single swim, you lose a second every time. Because you have to build back up the momentum from 0, and that takes some time.
Gotcha.
So another boss fight here.
Something about it here. Maybe it's like there's something about the way bonks work in Odyssey that I felt was particularly different than the other ones.
Oh, definitely.
I don't know. It's like the walls are sticky or something, or like maybe you don't get repositioned. Like I feel like maybe if you bonk in other games, because like here you'll bonk and it won't like put you. How do I word that here? I don't know. If you panic, you're easily inclined to just like bonk again.
Yeah.
Just completely fix yourself.
I noticed that about Odyssey when I played it. It was the bonking in this game, and I see people complain about it all the time. It's definitely almost the worst. Because you bonk, no matter what angle you have, I think, if you run into a wall, you would bonk. But in Mario 64, for example, and once you have an angle that's like more than 45 degrees, you could go into the wall and you won't bonk. So you're pretty safe.
So we got some hot mid-run commentary in chat from Necro, who said he had no idea that I was going to end up at the shop. Never made that mistake since the new route. Yeah, that's an unfortunate thing there too. But you know, hey, it's all about the it's all about not entering tilt and maintaining yourself. There's still plenty of tricks here that could potentially catch NicroVeda. So don't give a hope yet, chat. That was a pretty costly death in proportion to how crazy the route is and how good all these runners are. But there's still Snowdram coming up here in Snow Kingdom. There is what else? There's the People's Jump in Metro City. That's really, really cool right there. There is getting 2-cycle and the Mecha Wiggler. I can keep naming on things here, but there are plenty of tricks that any other ones can fix, can mess up as well. So don't give up yet. This is still I would say actually anyone's race, honestly. Especially actually on that note here, let me bring up here for you, Cheese. We're gonna get to it a little later on here, but there is a boss fight that is the second to last thing in the entire run. That is like notorious for being the run killer. Like everyone here is really, really good, but when you see this wooden mech Gundam looking thing they're gonna fight later on, it's like either you get the fight or you don't. Either you get it or you're going to lose like over a minute if you don't get it. Period.
It's funny because almost every Mario game has that going on. It's always like a boss or something right at the end that is the run killer. Makes it that much harder. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, what would you argue is like the run killer, the number one run killer late game of Mario for you? Is it Bowser 3? Is it a TikTok 100 point?
Bowser and also Rainbow Ride.
Rainbow Ride.
Rainbow Ride is just by far the hardest stage, and it's the last stage in the game. Everything, because you die. you basically die for every single mistake that you would make. Almost every single tiny mistake is a huge deal, and that's why it's so scary. Yeah, like I said, we have a really good relationship, me and Rainbow Ride. I've lost hundreds of runs there, but not surprised. I want to talk about actually before I get into that, we have another donation.
Oh.
Mr. Caden92 donated $25 as well. He says, I want a jersey. Well, guess what? You're not only eligible for the jersey. With the $25, you're now eligible for the jersey and also the signed N64 bundle. So congrats, and I wish you good luck. I'm going to give a quick shout out about talk a little bit about the prize giveaways.
Yeah, please.
It's on the command as well. Exclamation point, donate. The giveaways are as follows. For a $5 donation, you are eligible to win a copy of Celeste. $10 donation, you can win a Beast Coast backpack. $15, you win a Beast Coast zip-up sweater, or hoodie rather. And a $20 donation, you can win the official Beast Coast jersey, the professional gamer jersey, with all the sponsors, etc. And the $25, of course, the N64 bundle with the N64 console, N64 controller, and SM64 cartridge all in one. All signed by yours truly. So yeah, dude. Thank you so much, Caden, again for the donation.
Pretty sick, actually.
And
so I could win a cheese autographed 64?
Yep, with the game and controller.
I mean, and how are you going to get a world record in Bob Cheese without having that? So you got to get that in there,
right? So talk to me a bit about RNG in this game, Triax. How does that work? Is there any RNG?
RNG is pretty low in this game. Probably the biggest factor is actually where everyone except where they are right now, the bottom two. They're in New Donk City.
Frank Z in chat coming out. Big Frank Z. That was beautiful. Having a little bit of Doge issues. Somebody breaking into Triax's house, maybe. That was
my
good.
dog.
Okay.
My dog hates RNG, so you uttered the words and she just immediately went crazy.
Yeah, I triggered your dog.
But we're good. We're not. No, sorry about that. So yeah, RNG in Odyssey, there's actually not much. Probably the biggest one is the boss fight they're all coming up to now, the Mecha Wiggler at the top of the City Hall Tower here in New Donk City. It has the potential. How do I explain it here? It's minimal. RNG here is not anything I say worth complaining about, as far as like compared to like other speed games, like say like Pokemon, or even like compared to say Sunshine, where you have like freaking what is it? PD Piranha can destroy you. You have
You have the King Boo fight, which is
The
a big one.
King Boo fight. That's
Wait,
one of the slot
do they
machine,
do that
right?
anymore? Yeah, I'm actually not sure if they. I'm pretty sure they do that. Yes,
Yeah,
but there's a lot
yeah.
of RNG in Sunshine. There's the infamous the Yoshi clip.
Yoshi clip.
Where,
You got the guys who toss you in that one floodless section. There's actually a lot of RNG in Sunshine, honestly.
even in Mario 64, which is a game that is it's often talked about, like when it comes to RNGs, and people say it's one of the best games out there when it comes to very little RNG, but Odyssey has even less, because as I said before, there's the coins that you have to collect, and they're pretty random. When you kill enemies, it could be very sporadic.
Oh yeah, that is true. You have a couple of 100 coin routes that require you just to
yeah, there's quite a bit.
pop an enemy and 3 coins are gonna fly out, and you don't know where they're gonna fly at, and they could easily just fall off.
Right, but in Odyssey, there's no 100 coin moon that you collect really, so.
That is true. Actually, I've never realized that.
Right.
I never realized there's not even.
Because purple coins work differently. Purple coins is this one thing. It's kind of like the blue coins in SMS, where you collect blue coins to get stars. It works the same way in Odyssey, does it? Or am I totally wrong?
It's a little bit different because there's a store now. There's actually things to buy. You can use the purple coins to. Yeah, you use the store, and the purple coins act as currency, where you can get that world's exclusive merchandise to swag out your Odyssey and give Mario a costume exclusive to that world.
Okay.
It's all about the journey. The whole game's all about you're going on an Odyssey. So by the time you've been to your 8th world, you have this souvenir loaded Odyssey full of stuff, and you have 100 costumes because you dress like the locals at that point.
So Stravos and Chaos, very very close to each other. They've been pretty close, I think, for most of the race. Nico and Rails kind of close to each other as well, but a little bit far behind, or not that far. But
I'd say roughly under a minute behind, I would say, which is still enough to say you're pretty tangible here. It only takes one trick, So coming up here next now, I'm going for the scooter clip, which I'm actually pretty terrible at this, honestly. Yeah, it's pretty finicky. It requires you to actually hold your controller nearly upside down because the motion and the gyro of the controller influences how Mario is facing on the scooter, and then use that to let Mario's oversized nose just clip right inside the cage, get to the moon.
I just noticed a little optimization there that Chaos did, and Stravos actually missed it, and now Chaos is okay, you had trouble talking to the guy there, but I see that a lot in Odyssey too, where you kind of you throw your cap to I don't know what you call it. You throw your cap to the pole to become the pole or whatever.
Right.
I don't know if there's a word for that. But yeah, when you throw the cap, while the cap is moving, you grab a moon or something right before. So you grab the moon and then you become you transform. So you're killing two birds with one stone kind of thing.
Correct.
I see that a lot.
You can minimize backtracking because you can. So how that works is you can throw out the Cappy and he'll stay out deployed for I believe up to 4 seconds. I could be wrong about that. Might be a little over 3.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can hold Cappy out a little bit, and you can then shake your controller while deployed to motion homing onto any target within range. In this case, being the traffic pole, and you'll instantly teleport and capture that pole. So you can always do that, as long as you know your distances really, really well. That actually gets used a ton more way earlier in Sand Kingdom, but yeah, it gets used here too. It's some hot tech for you.
So far, the main forms of optimizations or tech really is the clipping that is used quite a bit now, and I don't know the words what they're called exactly, but I'm learning as we go.
No, it's good. You can call it whatever you want to call it. I don't know if you're talking about, were we talking about spin pounding or the
spin pounding, and then there's that we just talked about.
Yeah, chat tell me it's a they call it dram, even though
Dram.
I thought dram was more of the trick itself, not really the tech itself. But the big shots to Dram though. He's obviously a fantastic guy and a great runner.
Awesome.
So, I mean, it might also be an Odyssey community meme to just call everything Dram. I actually don't know. I'm not cool. I'm not hip like these kids are. So they always.
So what would you say, in your opinion, is the hardest stage for any percent?
The hardest stage. That's a good one actually. That's a little bit debatable. I would say, you know, I probably would say Sand Kingdom back in the gap because you have we didn't even go over this earlier, but there was so much tech going on there, but we had to commentate early on. But you had Sphinx Clip, you have, you know, Bird Cycle. There was you have the Duram Skip, you have the Duram 2, which happened all back to back near the alcove. So yeah, a lot of things can go pretty badly, and Sphinx Clip is notorious for being just like a very punishing, very finicky skip in the first place.
I see a lot of people in chat saying Luncheon and Wooden. Wooded and Luncheon are the most popular ones in chat.
Yeah, that's also fair too because they're later in the game, so just naturally, unless you like go out of your way, it's because like when you attempt runs, you're gonna encounter sand for the most part, and you might not get your runs far enough to actually give Luncheon practice. But it was a point I would say once upon a time I would say Sand Kingdom, but in the 2018 route, I don't know how punishing all the new stuff is with the clipping, but perhaps maybe even Wooded now because the clip is not easy and really hard and really easy to mess up. Yeah. And even worse yet, actually, if you recall, whenever everyone was clipping into the mountain and getting that one moon behind the entire mountain wall, if you do not do it the right way, you can end up stuck soft lock there because you don't have the tanks loaded to capture to even break open and free Mario right there. So there's high consequence, extremely high risk if you go for the 2018 Wooded route now.
Right. Okay, I guess it depends on what route you do and if you do all the pro strats as well. That's a whole different thing.
Yeah. I would say that all these runners here now to get to where they are, they all like have lost tons of runs in every way imaginable. Yeah. I can further attest here that Nicro has definitely tasted the jaws of defeat many times in a lot of areas, but as every great runner does, it's you fail until you're no longer sensitive to failing anymore, and then you become the god.
So this level is called Shiveria, if I'm not mistaken.
Snow Kingdom, which contains Shiveria. Yeah.
Oh, right.
You start surface level in Snow Kingdom, and then you enter the town of Shiveria once you go down the pit hole, or whatever you call it, the well.
Okay, I actually have not seen much of this level. I've seen a lot of every other one except this one.
So sorry, I was talking a lot here now. So if you look at I haven't mentioned yet though. Nicro's screens. He's gonna go for. Oh, actually, no, I forgot. I did it different here. There's gonna be a pretty sick trick coming up towards everyone's end of Sand Kingdom, where there's a moon that you can you're only supposed to be able to acquire if you warp here from a warp painting. On a chest on an isolated island right by the Odyssey in the very beginning here. But we'll see if they can all get it here. You're able to get that as Mario in the unintended manner without ever encountering the warp painting by using a combination of very precise jumping and that vectoring thing I brought up way earlier, Cheese, where you can change your trajectory 45 degrees and then you'll be able to get more distance off your jumps.
Right.
So you'll see all that come into play here in a second. And I'm sorry if I'm making it too wordy here. It's a lot to even explain what's happening and what's making what's happening possible. So, but yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool though.
More info, the better.
Mm-hmm. So let's see here.
So right now, Rails and Stravos pretty much tied.
Yeah,
as usual. They've been tied for so long right now. They both seem to be playing really well.
Yeah, neck and neck right now. You're not kidding there. I mean, probably noteworthy here too is just the general structure of the game here. You're seeing that the moons they both had acquired were on some kind of pedestal, and generally I think we call those story moons or cutscene moons. When you
oh, Nicro dying. They're gonna fall once again. Oh man, doesn't look too bad. He kind of spawned in the same area. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah. Typically, actually, I was really surprised that his death earlier in Wooded Kingdom actually was so costly because I've never like seen that was actually a very costly death in Wooded. Because normally it's usually like auto checkpoints.
He actually mentioned.
Okay.
He mentioned in chat about that. He said he didn't know he was gonna. He had no clue he was going to spawn back there by the shops because he apparently hasn't died there in a really long time.
Yeah, it's really weird too because like there are some areas where you can see a checkpoint untagged visibly on screen, and there's like a built-in soft checkpoint next to that checkpoint in case you don't tag it. Like Nintendo made this game very, very forgiving for everyone of every skill level. And then suddenly there is the one area where you don't get that mercy checkpoint.
Okay. Another donation coming in. Z Destroyers, the man himself, another really good Mario 64 player. Donating $25. Thank you so much for the 25. Now eligible for every prize on the giveaway. Thank you so much, Bob, for your donation.
Yeah. Thank you as well, helping the cause out. It's always a good thing.
Yeah, okay, so
Right,
Stravos.
so the bottom two now, you've seen him go for the snow dram. Oh, and he doesn't get it. All right, next one.
Oh, does he spawn right back there, or?
Oh, and he did get it. Oh yeah, there we go.
Oh,
yeah,
Stravos.
It's really hard.
Stravos pulling ahead.
And there are some visual cues, by the way. I wish I could slow it down just to explain to you cheats what they're using right there.
Oh, he fails it again. Oh no. What did he do it again? Do they have to do this trick, or does it lose too much time, or is it kind of just like a?
I don't have the actual mathematics to really break down for you, like the cost to consequence. I want to say you can go for it 3 times before it's actually slower than going for the intended original 2017 route.
Failed it again, but that's the 3rd time, so let's see what he does now. Oh man.
But yeah, what's going on here now? See how he enters the first-person view once he's on the Odyssey? He's using that view to trigger the help text on the bottom. Oh, he gets down. Congratulations, bro. Clap in chat. He's using the help text on the bottom of the screen when in first person to align it with the visual cue against the Odyssey to give himself the perfect positioning to be able to achieve it.
Right.
You know, so it's just a good old-fashioned, old-school speedrunner visual cue assistance to make a trick, you know, more consistent and real-time viable.
Because why not? Especially could barely lose this time. Okay, Nicro again at second try. Nicro failed it first time. Rails, did Rails go for it yet? I think, yeah, he did. Okay, so Nicro back in last place. But Rails messed it up Chaos messed up a lot there as well. So he's now in 3rd place, it seems. No, he's still in 2nd by a little bit.
So I'm trying to think here. Yeah, Stravos is like a good chunk ahead now. I don't know. He'd have to. I'm trying to think here. Like, under what situation would he even like? I mean, even if he had like a choppy lunch. I mean, I'm looking at him now, and it's like, he looks like he's comfortably like a minute and a half ahead of everyone else.
Yeah, and everyone else really close to each other.
So if he, I think as far as he can probably do like a pretty safe strats on Mecha Brutal if he wanted to, but. Oh wow, he went for the I forgot about this. The 2018 tech. Oh my god. He went for the rocket flower. I don't know what the name is called for yet, but he went for the rocket flower reset, where the rocket flower normally expires when you're on those little note trail over the water, where you can run on water. It normally expires whenever you acquire the moon, but you are able to reset it and then keep it for double the duration, and thus avoid capturing a squid.
Strats.
Yeah, I'm explaining it really, really badly here because I actually forgot that was even in the game at this point. I forgot that all these new routes are, all these new tricks now in the game. This was really cool.
So is that a common thing everyone does, or it's kind of...
It's pretty, I would argue it's pretty advanced.
Okay, so here I see Chaos kind of doing it, and also Rails. Or did he get it? Okay, so Chaos didn't go for it, and Rails went for it and did get it.
And you got the other cap too. Really awesome. Really awesome.
Oh, now I see. Okay, so I see the normal strat compared to the faster one.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, I don't know how to exactly explain it, but it involves having the Mario do a spin throw with the cap during the acquisition in some manner with the moon, causes it to reset.
Awesome.
But you can see there now that. Okay.
I was just gonna say it doesn't look like it loses too much time to do to not do the strat, but.
Yeah, you know what it is too though? Like, so everyone's really, really open to just like, the community is very, very collaborative in Mario Odyssey. And if you ever come by the Mario Odyssey Speedrun Discord and come down to the Discoveries channel, the fact that you can now just like, you know, use the Switch's firmware update to just show off any 30-second clip from your Switch without having like any kind of capture equipment. That means no matter what level of like poverty you are, if you're into speedrunning, you too can contribute. And let me tell you, so many people use that 30-second capture feature to just like help explain whatever useless tech or useful tech they find in the game. And so much information gets digested together here that like pretty much everyone's having the same goal. Everyone will see Mario Odyssey come down to sub 1 hour. Can we crack the 1 hour?
Dude, I am totally confident that it can. I mean, let's look at this obvious statistic. Odyssey's been out less than a year. Less than a year of speedrunning, and it's already, a top speedrun game and pretty optimized, and the times are really close together. So people are obviously working hard at it, and it's just started. It's just been a year. So I'm very confident that all these new strats are going to be found, and sub 1 will be possible.
Oh yeah, it's come a long way. If I just briefly recapping how far we've come, like I remember like week 1 having hour 40 was good, and then like within week 2 was like an hour 20, and then getting 115 was world record, then 110. Oh man, it just kept coming down and down and down. And for a long time, it was like stagnant at 104. And then finally, all these new things happened. And here we are now down to sub 102.
Yep. It's going to keep going down because that's speedrunning. We say, like in Mario 64, 139 is never going to happen. And then less than a year later, you get mid 139. So it's like, well, might as well just shut our mouths because you never know what's going to happen. Speedrunning is always being digged into deeper and deeper.
Yeah, so now we're in Luncheon Kingdom, which I do agree is a pretty brutal world actually. I would argue this is kind of like, I would get vibes of TikTok Clock here, to be honest. Like it's just where runs are expected to die.
I'm seeing Necro trying to do,
or you can just lose like 20 seconds like for nothing. Like you can say you played fine and still lose time coming out of here. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of Rainbow Ride, where one mistake could lose a lot of time.
Yeah, there's no small mistakes here. I would agree with that. Because another fun factor too is that whereas you can take damage in 64 Mario and you'll auto heal coming out of the cutscene whenever you get your star and whatnot after hopping out of the painting.
Right.
Here, whenever you take damage, it's guaranteed 2 seconds lost because you have to wait for the heal to happen, the little healing animation. So, and you have all that Pepto-Bismol or that pink goop everywhere here. So if you just fall into that at any given time, just like 2 seconds lost.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Minimum.
That changes the game a bit. So you kind of have to that's another thing you have to focus on when you're speedrunning is try not to lose any health whatsoever.
Yeah, or you have to consider that damage boosting here has a consequence, and your damage boost must save at least quote unquote 3 seconds. Get
obviously, yeah, to save time. Wow.
Yeah. So we got that.
Okay, I'm trying to keep up here, watching everybody's streams. So Stravos is still far ahead, I'm guessing.
Yeah, Stravos is about to. I'd call it the halfway point. He's entering the flick and fork room now, where you capture as a fork, and you're going to. Oh wow, he's doing a really fast shot.
I love this part. I've seen this before, and I always thought it was so incredible.
Wow, actually, I didn't know about that. That was really cool. He did in the beginning there. You might have saw he had like a absolute crap ton of height, and he skipped capturing the first fork and immediately went to the second fork that's a little bit higher.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how he actually did that. I wasn't even aware of that being a strat now. He just got a crap ton of height. I'm guessing it was like a spin pound with like a very optimized peak homing throw. That was really cool right there.
Seen a lot of little mistakes from Nicro and Luncheon.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a game where I don't want to use the T word, I don't want to say that they're in tilt, but like it's very easy to, well, and you're infamous too. If you're playing a race and you're behind, and you're like, okay, well I'm behind, I have to now play riskier to ever have a fighting chance to catch up, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe perhaps you're just like trying to like over optimize, and you're just like being a little too impulsive.
Yeah. I could definitely relate to that. I do that a lot. I think it's a really common thing in speedrunning. People want to go faster than is possible, and then end up messing up really hard for it instead of just sticking to the strats, sticking to what they know, which I think is one of the most important things in speedrunning. Not doing things that you haven't practiced, and a lot of people tend to do that.
Oh my god, I preach this all day long. You are not wrong there. One of my favorite I guess philosophies in speedrunning is that or how I approach it with practice is that you have to when you're out of things to practice, it's time to test stuff with runs. And the runs with the splits that are red and bad or whatever tell you what to practice. So it's a feedback loop.
Yep.
So
I mean, that's I think half the point of the splits in the first place. But yeah, no, that's a philosophy that I try to preach, but I need to preach it more, honestly. The fact that I'm a huge believer in doing strats that you know, that you practice. If there's a new strat or something that you know exists, but you haven't practiced it, even though you know it's easier, don't do it, because
don't do it.
even if like there's a pro strat and it's way harder, but you know that strat and you don't know the easy one, do not play safe. You got to do the things that you know, because at the end of the day, that's what you practice.
Runs are not the time for experimentation.
Exactly.
Ultimately, that's what you're doing. I can't tell you how often that I've been like ahead. Hear me out, right? I've been ahead. I'm on PD pace in a speed run, right? And I'm like, okay, I don't want to go for the risk damage. I'm gonna do the unpracticed safe strat I haven't done in a while.
Right.
So I'm on pace right now, and
you
because
mess
I'm
up.
unfamiliar with it, because I don't do it as often, obviously. Yeah, you mess up. You mess up the easier strat because you don't know it that well anymore.
Right. So that's happened to me in countless occasions.
Right? Like I'm sure there's probably some kind of like finicky, easier version of Lakitu Skip and Rainbow Ride. If maybe I don't know. Maybe
Oh yeah, they're like 3 different strats for Lakitu Skip. Lakitu Bound, sorry. So I don't think anyone really had that much of like, or any big mistakes in Luncheon. It seemed to go decently smooth for everybody.
Yeah, I'll push it up. Sorry, I apologize, Chad. But I was in the middle of going over philosophy, and I didn't get to cover the unpatched exclusive trick, the turnip clip that occurred earlier there. But yeah, I think everyone actually already got it. So coming up now, though, now we're already coming out of luncheon now, is Forgotten Kingdom. I forget actually what it's called now. I just call it Dark Souls 4.
Yeah,
it is the
looks like it.
yeah. This is the this is probably the one downtime killer in the run, because the run has actually very, very little downtime, other than like two cutscenes you can't skip. They're like 30 seconds each. But here you have a 3-minute boss fight that's pretty, auto-scroller-esque. You have to just wait for the point for the boss to be finally vulnerable, and then you can attack it. So this is usually the time where you would say, spam donations, or you can look at chat and actually read it for more than 4 seconds at a time.
Right. So I guess we could talk about some a little bit of info about the giveaways again for anyone who's new and don't know much about it. As you can see on the screen, we have giveaways going on. Minimum to enter in the raffle to win a prize is $5. You donate $5, you're eligible to win a copy of Celeste. $10, you can win a Beast Coast backpack. Thanks to Beast Coast again for sponsoring the merch. $15, you could win a zip-up hoodie, also from Beast Coast, and $20 donation, you could win the official Beast Coast professional gaming jersey. And then $25, the grand prize is an N64 bundle with the console, controller, and SM64 cartridge, all signed by Chizo5. I don't know who that is. Some washed-up guy. Doesn't really matter, but there you go, boys.
Legendary. Legendary. Well, you know what? The only thing I wish that you had on the donation reel was I wish I can get those hot rainbow pants you were wearing at SGDQ, because that's really what's causing you to be so good at Odyssey. I'm sorry, at 64. I wish you had those
it's
available.
Diversity, yeah.
I wish you had those, but the best thing I can get at this point is quote unquote just a cheese autograph the 1064 console. Then I think I'm pretty happy with that, actually. So yeah, you guys gotta hop in and show some love, get some swag, and tune in for more of these events from GSA.
So yeah, I always found this fight was a bit. What is your opinion on it? Do you think it's a little bit not like Mario style? Do you think it's a little too straying away too much from the Mario vibe? or do you think it's like a good dynamic that they added to the game?
The inner amateur game dev in me hates these kind of boss fights. The auto scroller ones, the ones where a boss fight you have to just endure all the BS until it's finally vulnerable. Like there's no way to like make it faster. It's essentially an auto scroller. But I normally hate these kind of boss fights, but because it is the only instance of like any kind of like slowed down pace, it's not at your control. I'm okay with it.
I guess it could be seen as yeah, a little breather from the quick paced movement to come right after.
I mean, do you have any of those moments in 64 Mario where you have like
yeah, they have like the Wiggler fight in THI. There's the Koopa races in BOB and THI as well that aren't as long, but it's like 1 minute each, you know, to kind of just relax.
Do you enjoy them, or would you prefer they were removed somehow if they could?
They're okay. 1 minute is, you know, it's the decent time to just collect your thoughts and get ready for the upcoming stages.
You know what I can tell you?
Inevitable reset in Rainbow Ride.
Here's what I can tell you. I don't mind the fight conceptually and the run itself. But when running the game, it's like if you come off of a bad Luncheon Kingdom, like you just straight up like lost a minute or 20 seconds, or you were in the green, but now you're in the red, and you gotta just sit here and like just sulk in your tilt and loss from coming off of a hard kingdom. You have just a 3-minute auto scroll, just like you know, all you can do is reflect upon your mistakes, and it's just like it's not the best time.
No, I agree.
That's the one thing I probably don't like as my runner bias, but conceptually I don't really mind it.
I agree. I had those thoughts too. But on the flip side, if you come from red into green, you have that time to think about how cool you are, and you're a legend at the game. So there's that as well.
Yeah, it's the double-edged sword, right? It's the Dante must die mode. You know.
So this level, what is this level called?
This is Bowser's Kingdom, and yeah, this level here, I wouldn't call this one really hard because it's so linear. You have to have 8 moons in order to take your Odyssey off to the next point of the game.
Right.
But 6 of them are cutscene moons or story moons. So it's very, very linear, and there's really not much option for like routing possibility because like the 6 you need kind of force you to go in a certain one-line direction, and then the other 2 you're going to need for a total of 8 are very, very obvious. They're very, very fast and right around the corner.
Okay.
So, but the one cool thing here, probably the most tech-heavy part of this run, or part of this kingdom itself, aside from the Mecha Brutal fight, is the mini moon shards here coming up right now. Or a couple of them already past this point.
All right, I know about those.
Yeah, they're really, really cool because you can do all the things we brought before. You can use you can toss Cappy. You can do the homing toss after Cappy's deployed. You know, it's a lot of things going on right here, right now. Kind of reminds me of Yoshi. You don't have to actually be physically near anything you need to get your objectives done. You can kind of use Cappy to do all your dirty work. It's really, really cool. But yeah, and then yeah, you got the moon mini shards. You have here the you know, your the brutals coming up now with wear the hats. You know, every boss in the game wears a hat, and so it's there to like, you know, ridicule you, and you have to like knock their hat off to get them vulnerable if you haven't noticed yet. So
basically, go on.
Oh, that's it. The hats play a pretty big theme into showing you very obviously how the vulnerability of the boss fights work, even if you're completely new to the game.
Yeah, I mean, in Mario games, the boss fights have always been really obvious. But Mario, I mean, the good thing is they don't focus on the boss fight as much. It's all about everything around it, the movement and the speed. But so I noticed in this level, you're kind of doing every boss fight again. You're doing all the boss fights from all the other stages in one.
That is true. Yeah, you're revisiting here somewhat for this world, but if you were to play more of the gaming and do like a longer category, like, you know, I don't know if I want to spoilers here. You eventually go to the moon.
Right.
Once you get to the moon, there is a dedicated boss rush level where you have to do all that again. So
Okay.
you see them over and over again.
So the other boss fights harder now, or are they the same as the first time?
Well, yeah, they're all harder now. Correct. The for example here, the female brutal here, Harriet, that's being attacked here on the top 3 or the 3 screens that are going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Before she would only throw like one spike ball back when you would originally encounter her in Sand Kingdom, but now she throws two, and she's more of just an annoying little brat, if you will.
Yeah. I was going to say.
And also the I forget what's his name, Hatter. I don't know what it was called, Top Hatter, the green caps here. When you encountered him originally in the beginning of the game on Cap Kingdom, he only wore 3 hats. Now he's just gone hat crazy, and he has like 10 hats now. And they all go everywhere. Also notable here too that because we're doing fast strats, you never get to see the hats scatter around, but he'll hide under one hat and have the other, like, whatever, 9 or 10 hats just scatter around crazily, and it's really, really hard to find them quickly without losing, like, 5-10 seconds trying to find them down.
Right.
So, but of course, fast strats prevail, so you skip all that, honestly.
So Stravos was still a big lead, it seems. Finishing up here, I believe. I think
yeah, he's about to actually go into the mecha brutal fight right now, actually, which is what I done earlier, the run killer.
So this has a lot of important parts in it, right?
Oh yeah, there's so much going on here.
He already fell down.
Originally, you're meant to use the Pokio, that little bird he's kind of avoiding right now. You're meant to use the bird to climb, to knock the ejecting cannonballs onto the legs, which knock the whole thing over. Then climb the whole suit to finally attack one of the capsules that the rabbits reside in. Right. But like, this boss fight is so broken now. You don't use that. You climb in an unintended way. The game actually, if you saw there, whenever you climb on, the game is aware that you got up there, or that you're still up here in an illegal, unintended manner, and just force ejects you off. However, you're able to use an obscure combination of movement options to keep your height and still make it back to the top of the Mecha Whittle. Anyway,
Stravos fell down. I don't think you meant to do that.
Yeah, if you saw there, he fell down while in a twirl. So he was trying to go for a spin pound, but just happened to barely miss the one of the platforms.
Oh no, this is damaging. Everyone else seems to be catching up a lot right now.
Like I said, yeah, this fight is oh my god. And once the legs close up, yeah, you're forced to endure the 30 second loss right there. Yeah, wow. This fight is he missed the Pokio poke there as well. So yeah,
so you have to kill all on the side and then the top one.
Yeah, we have a race now. This actually can go.
Yeah, this is actually Chaos taking the lead.
Chaos taking the lead now.
Oh my god. And Stravos is right behind. I mean, it's still anyone's game, I think.
Still anyone's game, definitely, yeah. Because there's again, spoilers for cheese. Now we're going to be going to the moon here shortly, and there you have to fight. There's the moon skip. There is just a whole idea of optimizing the moon gravity, which will involve more vectoring. And then there is the second Bowser fight, and there's also the dreaded 2D skip. All of these combined, if you get them all first try, can definitely add up to, especially for Chaos versus Stravos here, can definitely add up to some upsets in the very end.
Right.
So nothing here is final now. So it's currently.
Nothing new, another Mario game where the ending is the hardest part. A lot of big time losses, basically. So definitely not going to speedrun this game anymore. Sorry.
Oh no! Then Necro missed that dive. Oh man!
Getting stomped by the big foot.
Like I said, dude, this game, now that you're experienced, I can say that this game will put you in tilt. Motion controls is something about just having to you can't remain still and frigid and get calm like you can in other Mario games. Here, you have to motion control a lot of times, so it's like you have to man. You can't let your tilt transfer into a body language. So it's just, I just feel you're more easily inclined to just end up doing the wrong things whenever you're not playing how you wish you were.
This is bad for Nicro.
Yeah, he's also at 1 HP right now, and if he were to die, it would be very, very costly. But he gets in there, he's done, he's out.
Awesome, finally.
Yeah, so he's a bit off though. It's probably about a minute and a half.
Yeah,
a minute and a half right now, because there's this whole cutscene right here. There's 2 cutscenes. There's the wooden mech destroy, then there's the whole going to the moon cutscene. So yeah, he's a little bit behind right now, but we'll see what we can do. So now we're on the moon, though. You have to deal with the moon gravity. It's very important. Notice how they're twisting and turning during their jumps, and that allows Mario to go a lot further due to the vectoring.
Right.
So you definitely want to do that. Coming up here, there's a cave that you're supposed to like go into. It's kind of like, and it kind of resembles like Bowser's little torture cave or whatever. But you can skip that cave entirely by using this using the Sphinx. Yeah, you're gonna use a combination of ground pounding off the Sphinx, wall jumping off of a wall in a certain position, and then there's this one active little hitbox on the left wall that you just saw here happen on the bottom left screen. That you're able to wall jump off of to make the whole thing possible.
Nice.
And the thing is, this is probably the first major skip found in the game, even back in the first, I think this was found like in the first week of the game being out. And this skips 3 minutes, by the way. This is like huge.
Stravos having a hard time. He's now 3rd place. Can he get it this time?
Okay, got it. Wow, and like I said, y'all, upset. Still into Moon Kingdom right now. Still anyone's game though, honestly. Okay, so in the Bowser fight, there is, vanilla fight, and then there is the fast strats. Fast strats involving taking some damage. You do some damage boosting in order to immediately acquire the cap tossed by Bowser. It happens during phase 2 and phase 3 of the fight. And not getting that strat down could cost you, I'd say probably like maybe 10 to 20 seconds each one, depending on how quickly you can scramble to get the intended cap. So, you potentially have here 40 seconds of time loss if you don't get these on first try. But,
so what they're doing is they're jumping on the hat right before it activates. So you just grab it as soon as it's ready, basically.
Correct. Yeah, you are the active hitbox to acquire Bowser's Toss cap is not active until the cap is lunging forward and ready to attack Mario. So you need to have Mario above the cap and ready to deploy Cappy so that you can frame one, hit the cap before Mario is touched by the Bowser's cap. Sorry, I'm using the word cap a lot here, but yeah.
Oh, that's why he purposely takes damage, so he can't be affected by the other ones.
Correct.
Oh,
yes.
Okay, that's awesome.
There's also some other. It's a little more complicated than that too, though. I'm just kind of giving you the basics here. There's also an active invisible wall that happens if you fail the trick as well. That makes it kind of hard to recover. So you just have to like if you fail the fast strat, you can't recover and do it again. You have to just go for the vanilla strat at that point.
Okay, so just getting used to the timing and jumping on the right time. Okay, not too bad. This part of the run I always really enjoyed. The fact that you use Bowser is so cool.
Yeah, one thing actually important to bring here, because I actually didn't notice until someone pointed out to me when I first played the game casually, is that Bowser does have a triple jump, which is going to make this whole skip right here possible. 1, 2, 3.
That's awesome.
That leap right there is only made possible by doing the triple jump height. You also can notably, I believe you can stall your height a little bit by doing the Bowser attack swipe while walking around as Bowser. So if you feel like you're not going to make that jump a little bit too soon, you can do a swipe in order to make it as well. And then here you have 2D skip. All right. So now that Chaos went for 2D skip, which saves, I believe, 1 second. But if you fail it, you lose everything. You start at the very beginning of the final battle section again, losing.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's a big risk, but when you're world record class, you don't say no to fast strats. You
gotta go, dude.
You gotta go for it. Oh, and there you go. Then Travis got it as well. So the final thing that they're looking at now before they can finish the race here is the dreaded 4 pillars. Right. The camera during this section is so uncooperative. It's actually insane. Because you're aiming for them so early, the camera's just refusing to accept you. So every pillar requires 5 fireballs to hit to knock over, and you can use fireball spit by Bowser or the attack swipe by Bowser to do it, or any combination of the two. Okay. But you can see here now, though, in the distance, that there's a bunch of falling meteorites, kind of blocking your way, just wanting to slow you down and whatnot. So there's sometimes where you've seen them that they could fire faster or fire in a different way. Oh, that was really good by Chaos. That was actually a really, really good fight. Holy crap!
All right, Chaos is taking first place officially.
That is going to be GG right here. Time as soon as the Bowser blasts off. Yeah, notice how he was at the 3rd pillar, never even walked towards that bottom right, the 4th pillar, because he had all of his fireballs hit as it was pushing the very beginning of the section. Really good there.
Congrats to Chaos taking first place. 103, high 103. Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome
for a race. Dude, good stuff.
And Stravos coming in 2nd place. No, wait. No, Rails took 2nd place. Right behind him. And then Stravos. Wasn't even looking at Rails.
Oh, look at that! Look at that! Upsets all around.
Oh my god, it's so close too.
Oh, and Stravos had a fantastic run too.
Yeah, except for that
Where
one
did that
fight.
happen again? That was all with the all because of the mecha.
Yeah, pretty much. That was the only big thing.
Yeah,
Awesome,
welcome to it's like
Odyssey.
it's yikes. Yeah, Odyssey, yo.
Yeah, but what I like so much about this Bowser area too is that it creates a lot of room for improvement for optimizations with the fireballs and stuff in terms of destroying these pillars. Like you could have all different strats to save time.
Indeed,
Nicro
yeah.
taking the L, taking the big fat L, taking last place. But you know what? We all love Nicro. And
We all love Nitro indeed.
at the end of the day.
Yeah, but each to everyone. Oh, also noteworthy here too, by the way. And that's something more for you to think about, ponder on here, Cheese. When you're firing the fireballs, I don't know if you assumed that it was a button press, but it is a motion. You have to like fling your controller down to do the fireballs.
Oh really? Okay.
But do you have to? It's either it's faster or you have to pay which one it is. But yeah, you fling you fling your controller up and down. Do it.
I never
So
go Nicro.
you have to use your R3 stick to keep that camera constantly on the right things as the camera is fighting you the entire time, and holding your left stick controller to freaking make Bowser move around the way you want to, and motion fling. You don't even have a stable grip on the controller. It's a very new skill, I find. I found motion controls of this requirement, of this extent, very hard and punishing in the first 2 weeks of playing the game, but I eventually got used to it. But then again, I didn't really hop on Splatoon too hard, so I hear playing Splatoon will kind of condition you to really get into the whole gyro controls into the game.
Mm-hmm.
But I found it very hard for speedrunning to get used to that first.
Okay. Well,
But
Nicro
yeah.
finishing it off. Congrats to everyone on the race. Really close for the top 3 were really close. And I kind of had a feeling this was going to happen because, again, Odyssey is this kind of game where there's not really any RNG, and these runs are really close in time, so...
Yeah, I also would agree that it's because, like, everyone's a top runner here. That could have been anyone. The minute any one of these top runners would have entered, like, their first, obviously visible glaring mistake, you're at the crossroads, right? You're like, hey, do I play how I would normally play and don't reflect upon the mistake, or do I play riskier and tighter to try and make up for lost time? Do I settle for a 3rd place, or do I try to go for the comeback by playing max YOLO? And with race stress, it's always gonna be a thing like that. When you're playing at top level, whenever everyone's like bad and no one has practiced, it's like kind of like more fun and predictable. But when you're high level racing, it can be stressful.
But anyone could win, dude, and that's what's great about it.
Definitely.
And that's why we believe that it's time to take it to the pro level, because anyone could win, and you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, one more thing about that.
Go on.
Oh, yeah, one more thing about that too is the fact that racing requires a different, I would say, skill set as far as mentality goes. Because when you're going for world record or like a personal best time, you're thinking more like okay, I can just reset whenever I want. So I don't have to challenge myself mentally with the whole like dealing with and coexisting with mistakes. If I get a bad mistake that I hate, I'm just gonna reset and try again later on. But with the race, you must cope. You must have the ability to cope with, reflect upon, and get out of tilt if you are entering it yourself. That's a very not underrated skill to have. I'm personally stuck at it myself, but go ahead.
Definitely true. I mean, I say the same thing all the time. And not only that, bringing in other events other than just like races, when you add in stuff like bingo tournaments, etc., it's a whole different it's a different ball game, because bingo introduces the whole like routing factor. You have to come up with routes on the spot, and then it's a whole different mentality as well. It brings in more than just the same races over and over, and anyone could win, especially Mario 64 bingos. The players that are not even top 30 in terms of like PBs are the ones who are really good at bingo, because they know the game a lot more. They're really good at routing, and that at the end of the day is what contributes to like getting the wins in bingo. So adding that is like a whole different dynamic into the whole tournament scene.
You're not getting there, man. Yeah, bingo. The one thing I could say about bingo, will they ever happen on this channel? Can you tell us more about what's to come? Like, can we look forward to bingo happening on?
Like I mentioned earlier, the first main event we're having is in the beginning of August. Is the Ultimate 120-star relay. We have 40 players, 8 teams, 5 in each team. And the grand prize right now is $300, and all the money raised in this fundraiser will be put to the prize pools of that tournament. Right after that tournament, we have a bingo tournament planned. And it's going to be... There's never been a bingo tournament with prizes, and I think that bingo is being really, really... It's a lot more popular now, and I think people need it. It needs to be more put out there, you know, because I think it's a great race to have. It's a great tournament to have because of different reasons other than just being the best player. Because you could be the fastest player, but then you could be really good in terms of knowing just knowledge in the game and being really good at routing, and that at the end of the day is what wins bingos, you know.
Another component too of why bingo is really, really fun. Chad, in case you're wondering, like, is it just like, you know, oh, if you're not good at 80%, you just, you know, that's why people play bingo. In case any of y'all would think that, well, one, obviously that's wrong here, but the great appeal I find of bingo is that you look at any percent, for example, from Mario Odyssey here. Here you're seeing what is obviously the 124 fastest moons in the game. And there are so many moons in this game. There are so many objectives and missions that are fun to do, but for whatever reason are too slow to ever be viable in most categories of speedrunning Mario Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
And what bingo can give you ultimately through the objectives made for the bingo sheets and the bingo squares is it gives you an excuse, a productive speedrun bias excuse to do all the fun stars you would never do otherwise. You know, it's like, imagine if, for example, imagine if there was no 120 star, there was only 70 star. And there's like, you know, there's 50 stars in 64 Mario that you never touch because they're too slow. But then bingo now gives you the thing that lets you utilize those unique moons for their properties. And that's the thrill. Not only the 50 you never do, but then what order do you do the 50 in? Because the game is so like non-linear.
Precisely. It creates a whole different...
And that's the thrive.
It's
so fun.
Right.
There's
so we have.
Go ahead. There's a reason why it's so good. That's why you're seeing, you know, OOT randomizer popping off so hard right now lately.
Exactly.
But go ahead.
Okay, so we have post interview. So we're gonna enter the GSA Discord chat, you and I, and we're gonna have a little interview with Stravos and Chaospringle.
Let's do it.
Go ahead and do that right now.
Hang on a second, y'all.